a pure element. Okay, and the other one is pure. If that's the case, then you use. Let me just transfer this question to you. What should you do? Instead of having one impure and the other pure, you have one pure and the other one so mixed with a pure element. Like for example, one of them is pure water. The other one, you have 2/3 pure water, 1/3 tea. But you cannot call it anymore water. Now you cannot tell the difference between them. So what should you do?
It's the same, right? Yeah, I mean, in
Tayammum?
yeah, because you cannot do with the one that is in the middle.
Yeah, but this time the answer is not resorting to tayammum. You should use both of them. Okay, use both of them. Now you would be 100% sure that you use the pure one. Right? Say for example, you started wudu first with the pure one. Then with the one which is not pure, it will not affect your wudu. Your wudu is correct and you can go right away and pray. This is different from the first question. The first question, because one of them you cannot use in wudu. Here, one of them you can use for wudu, but the other one, if you use with wudu, it is not something najis, it's not something impure.
Okay,
Even if you pray with it in your body, it will not affect your prayer. Okay, here the answer is use both of them. Yeah, not mixing them. No, make wudu with one, and then make another wudu with the other one.
So I was thinking the first condition, you can use one container, pray, and then use other container, pray, and that way you're certain that one of the salah was, rather than resorting to tayammum,
Yeah.
you know, because the water is available.
Yeah, but here you're doing salat wise.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to do that. Just resort to tayammum because we are only commanded to do the salah once. In that case, so you just leave both of them and yes, yeah. Type rules concerning utensils, cups, plates.
My question is regarding the brother's question. If hundreds of people are using the same water over and over again, don't you think it is going to lose its water definition and becomes muddy? How we can keep using the same water over and over again?
But when water lose its definition as water, when it is not water anymore, do you think using it over and over and over will change it from being water? No. Because you know, the Muslim body is tahir. Yeah, but unless, as Brother Ismail said, if there is najasa, impurity mixed with it, like
Yeah,
some
saying that people are used to washing their feet.
type. You know, usually, yani, Muslim's feet is expected to be pure, unless if he stepped over impurity or something like that. Okay, as long as you know the water stays the same, there is no change in the color, or we did not smell any type of impurity, then we should use it. Okay, and this is normal, you know. And I noticed this in India and Pakistan. In some masjids, they have a big water, you know, outside. Everyone use that water for making wudu. So that's acceptable. It's practiced for a long time throughout the Muslim history. They don't have, you know, systems that like we have now. And they have just water, plenty of water in one pool outside, and everyone use it for the tahara. Yes.
In pure water is cyclone.
This is a big issue. We have some brothers at Tuba University, they writing a research paper about that. The ruling concerning treated water or recycled water. If you want, you can just search it and just submit your term paper, inshallah. طيب. Utensils, plates, cups, spoons, forks, you know, are allowed for us to use, with exception of utensils made of gold or silver. Like if you have a cup made of gold or silver, then you cannot use it for eating and drinking. It's haram to do that. A fork, a spoon, or a knife made of gold or silver is haram for us to use. Because the Prophet ﷺ says, do not drink in gold or silver utensils, and do not eat in plates made of such metals. very strong hadith agreed upon by Bukhari and Muslim. It's prohibited to do that. لا تشربوا في آنية الذهب والفضة ولا تأكلوا في صحافها. So it's prohibited to do that. There are some exceptions. I'll talk about it inshallah in a minute. But any plate, any cup, any spoon, fork made of gold or silver, whether it's pure gold or silver or it is plated with gold or silver, you cannot use it. The instruction is very clear. You cannot use it for drinking or eating. Okay? Yes?
So even the manager said the gold plate, so I would assume then the cup that just got the little trim around it that's gold, that would be forbidden also. You know, there's some dishes where they make it just have a little gold trim around it.
No, is it gold? It's not real gold. Yeah. Even sometimes they call it silverware. It is not really silver. It is stainless steel. But if it's made from silver, pure silver or pure gold, or plated with silver and gold, you cannot use it. Yes?
Sorry, what's the reasoning for the another suggestion?
What's the reason for the prohibition? What is the hikmah? What is the wisdom behind that? Can you guess any wisdom behind that?
That's not the purpose of gold.
Huh?
It's the ornaments of Jannah.
Okay.
It's a waste.
But why is haram for us to use it? Why is haram for a Muslim to use a plate made of gold?
It's excess.
Huh? Arrogance. Okay. Also, it's breaking to poor people's hearts. They can barely find food to eat, and some other Muslims eat using a spoon made of gold or a plate made of gold.
Jewelry is okay.
Huh?
Jewelry is okay.
But usually, this is not how people, usually you can find, a tray or cups made of gold or silver, spoons, but not from diamonds, for example. Right? Yeah.
Just keep it simple. Allah has commanded, forbidden, no argument, no analysis.
No, but there's nothing wrong, to try to understand the wisdom. Okay, the scholar said, because, if some people can barely find something to eat, and they see other people eating using a spoon made of gold, or like a plate made of gold, it's breaking to their hearts. It's to create, bad feelings on their hearts. This is, we cannot say this is wisdom, but some scholars, they try to figure out the wisdom. But the ultimate wisdom, because this is the instruction of the all-wise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay?
Wearing like silk clothes also haram.
For men. Yeah, men cannot wear, for example, a shirt made of silk, pure silk.
How about
The
the tie?
tie.
There's a lot of ties I see.
Yes, but most likely is not pure silk, because if they sell 10 mentally for $10, definitely it's not pure silk, because silk is very expensive. But if it's pure silk, he cannot wear it. But for women, it's okay. For men, it's okay if there is a need, like if he has allergy or some people they cannot wear regular shirts made of cotton or something like that. Okay, if that is the case, then he can. It will be an exemption.
But going back to the example, what if it's certain percentage of silk? Like it's 20% silk, 80% cotton.
You mean the tie, right?
Yeah.
Tie, shirt.
Yeah. So if he says if it is part silk and say 25% or 1/4 of it is silk and the rest of it is cotton, can he use it or not? What do you think?
We don't
know.
Can you wear it?
If you said I don't know, you give a proper fatwa. You don't know.
Is it allowed? First of all, tie.
Tie? Very good question. Yeah, very good question. Are we allowed to wear necktie?
Why not?
And if we are not allowed, why? it's okay, there's no problem. I personally asked this question to two great scholars of our time, and they said there is no problem. Even some people, they said, originally the tie, yeah, simplifies it. But now, people, they don't wear ties now because of that reason. So everyone now wear ties, Muslims, non-Muslim, Christian, Jews, Hindus, everyone. It has no significance. It does not have any religious significance anymore. Okay, so wearing a tie is no problem. It's not a problem. And who says it's haram, then he has to provide an evidence for that. There is no evidence. Okay, and it's not imitation of non-Muslims, because Muslims and non-Muslims alike, they wear neckties. You go to Egypt, to Pakistan, to India, to Sudan, everywhere, Muslims and non-Muslims, they wear neckties. So it's not unique to non-Muslims, yes.
But if you're given a choice, you have a choice which is better.
Now, if you don't want to wear a tie, okay, out of, it's called wara', you can do that. But you cannot tell other people it's haram to wear because something which is permissible, making it haram, is the same like the opposite. To make haram halal. So I have to be very careful. I don't like to wear neckties. I don't prefer to wear it. But I cannot tell someone who wear a necktie that you are doing something haram.
So if the reason is because Prophet ﷺ didn't wear this
sorry?
type of, if I'm not wearing tie because the Prophet ﷺ didn't wear it, is it a good reason to say that not wearing tie is better?
But do you know that the Prophet ﷺ wore a garment which is called Jubba Rumiya? It's known to be worn by the Roman. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ wore Jubba Rumiya. Jubba Rumiya means a garment that's known to be worn by the Roman. It's a gift given to him. And he wore it. People at that time, no one, Muslim and Muslim, now it's not known, necktie were not known at that time. Okay. So it's not haram to wear it, but if out of being precautious, and you don't want to wear it, then it's okay, don't wear it, but don't tell other people you should not wear a necktie. Okay?
Wasn't there an incident when Salman Farsi, when he showed Prophet from the pajama kind of thing?
He showed him what?
Pajamas.
Okay.
Because he's from Persia and they used to wear that kind of thing. And Prophet mentioned that I wish I like the dress because at that time he was wearing this kind of things without any speech. And he said, yeah, this is a nice thing. What you're wearing. So I think there was an incident like that.
Well, I'm not aware about that, but anyhow, there is no evidence whatsoever that prohibits wearing neckties. Now, we are prohibited from imitating the disbelievers in things that is unique to their deen. You know that kufi worn by the Jews, the Jewish people, the small one? We cannot wear a kufi like that because it's known to be worn by their rabbis, for example, or things like that. But for necktie, everyone wears necktie. Muslim, non-Muslim, Hindus, it's not specific to any religion. It's not a religious symbol.
So because we're on this topic, there's a strong opinion back home in our subcontinent that if you have your pants down to your ankles, then it's showing off, and your prayers will not be accepted. Your pants has to be above your ankles. So, I know they used to do that at that time, but how valid is it now at this point? Is it really
it's valid back and then and now.
Even now?
Yes, because there's a clear instruction from the Prophet ﷺ. He says, "ما أسفل من الكعبين ففي النار." Whether it is a trouser or whether it is a garment or jalabiya, for men, it should not go beyond the ankle. In the salah and outside the salah.
Even outside the salah?
No. Even if you are wearing your regular clothes and you're going to work, you should make sure that your trouser does not go beyond your ankle. You have up to the ankle.
Then if you're walking like that in a professional area, you're
No. You can have your trouser up to the ankle, but not below the ankle. For men.
The original question is still remain the shirt. Or
The shirt,
the
yes.
mix of silk and cotton.
The question was about 25% 75% cotton and 25% is silk. Now this is, can we call this silk shirt? No. But if it is up to 50 or more than 50%, then we cannot use it. Okay? Now, yes.
Back to the question about the trousers for men. I was in a class one of these, right now I can't remember who the scholar was, but I think it might have been Saki Khan, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, the explanation that was given was in reference to the fact of men maybe at that time wearing the long garments to show off. And but the way men wear their pants these days, like at the ankle or just below the ankle, the whole issue had to do with showing off and wanting to be seen amongst people as maybe special or something like that. But otherwise, if the pants are long, it's okay. But from the way he explained it, during that time, it was a type of dress that I guess you could say like maybe royalty or something wore, and it was a thing for showing off.
Okay. طيب, I disagree with this position for one reason. The Prophet ﷺ says, ما أسفل من الكعبين ففي النار. Anything that goes beyond the ankle will be tortured by the fire. Okay? And it's very clear instruction. It does not relate it to arrogance or not. There is another hadith. The Prophet ﷺ says, the one who dragged his garment behind him as an act of arrogance, at the hereafter he will receive the severest punishment. Now that's different. Dragging one clothes behind because of arrogance. But here the hadith is very clear. It's talking about something which is letting your garment go beyond your ankle. He did not say because it shows arrogance or it shows because it show off. Okay, that act by itself is threatened by a punishment. And the principle that any act or any punishment enacted for an action, this means that the action is haram to do, is prohibited to do. And you have to be very careful for men. Make sure that your trouser, your garment, make sure that it's not going beyond your ankle.
And there is no difference between different imams on this, Hanafi versus Maliki.
No. This is, you cannot say that. Most of the issues, fiqh issues, you have different opinion among different scholars. But we mentioned this in the first hour and the second hour, the first unit and the second unit, that we should try to weigh the evidence used by each opinion, and then the one that you think is a stronger evidence, then you should follow it. Not because I like this, because all my trousers goes beyond the ankle. So the opinion that says that, I will follow it. No. Na'am, Wallahu ta'ala alam.
How do you understand the hadith about, I think was Abu Bakr, or one of his trousers kept falling and he kept pulling it
Yeah, he
up?
said I keep it. I try to
He
keep
said
it.
you're not doing it because of arrogance. So that's
Exactly.
why I think
No, but that about the Prophet says the one who drags his garment behind him as an act of arrogance.
No, this one is the one where
Yeah, I know.
kept
Then,
pulling it up.
yeah, that you need to understand the statement of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. The Prophet says the one man jarra thawbahu khuyala, the one who drag his thawb behind him as an act of khuyala, of arrogance, then he will receive such and such punishment. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said, oh, I dragged mine, but not intentionally, because it fell and then I pulled it up. I know, I agree about that, but the other hadith says, whoever izar goes beyond the ankle, that part of his body will be tortured with fire. طيب, anyhow.
Can we eat silver foil?
I'm sorry?
Can we eat silver foil?
Silver?
Foil. For the sweet making, they put silver foil, gold foil.
No, is it real silver?
Yes.
If it's real silver, then we cannot put food in it and eat it. whether it is plate or.
Well, actually,
But
it's on the
usually,
food itself. It's a
Huh?
coating on the
Eating silver.
Eat silver.
But is it real silver or silver oxides or silver?
No, it's not very thin.
Very thin layer. They have a very
Yeah. Type. Look, if it is not harmful to one's body. Okay, because the Prophet ﷺ says, "La darara wa la dirar." We should not harm others, and we should not even bring harm to ourselves. Okay, if it's medically proven, it's not going to hurt the person, to bring any harm to the person, there is no problem. There is no prohibition against that. Okay, but if it will be harmful to the one's body, then he cannot do that. And we have some doctors say they can tell us whether it is harmful or not. Is it harmful? Huh? It will.
And any gold, silver, any one, yes, it can be harmful to your body.
If it's harmful, then you cannot use it because of that reason.
And any excess or any pure
Okay.
on a chronic basis, yes.
All North Indian people should have died by now. Maybe at least it is.
طيب, let's go back to the point. Any utensil made of gold or silver, we cannot use it. There is some exception. If there is a small amount of silver used for a need, like it was mentioned in this hadith, once the cup of the Prophet ﷺ got broken and he fixed it with silver wire, that's acceptable. If a small amount of silver used for a need, that would be acceptable. But if it is made of gold or silver, we cannot use it, period, for eating and drinking. طيب. This question, is the prohibition of gold and silver utensils applied only to eating and drinking, or is it extended to other types of usage? Like if someone has a tray made of gold and small cups made of gold, and you just keep it in a display just for decoration. They don't use it for drinking and eating. Is that acceptable? The stronger opinion of the scholars, yes, it is acceptable. Because what's prohibited is only using it for eating and drinking. Because Salama, the one who narrated that hadith, she used to have a small cup made of gold, and she used to keep some of the hair of the Prophet ﷺ in it. So this is a usage, but not for eating and drinking. So it's acceptable to use them for other types of usage, but not for eating and drinking. The skin of a dead animal, from the type of animals that we normally allow to eat its meat, then could be purified by tanning. If it is cleaned by using tanning, then it could be used. Now, what about something made of the skin of a swine, of khinzir? A coat or a shoe, or for example, like leather for the seat leathers. Can we use that? No. If it's made of khinzir or dogs or any such animal, it won't be allowed to use it.
What about the leather of a cow, for example, that was not killed, slaughtered according to?
Yeah, if it is tanned, for example, if a dead cow skin, okay.
But it wasn't slaughtered by.
Yes, it's not slaughtered Islamically. It could be purified by tanning. If it is using, certain chemicals to clean it, then you can use it. This is the point here we mentioned, we mentioned that, it's the skin of an animal that's lawful for us to eat its meat. If it's tanned, then we can use it. Whether it is slaughtered or if it is killed, for example, if someone hit a deer and kill it, then if that deer is skinned, after tanning that skin, we can use it.
Okay, I guess I'm thinking more specifically, like if you purchase clothing, for example, a leather coat or leather furniture,
yes.
Leather in your car,
yes.
Seats. It's nothing you can. You can't tan it because it's already been tanned, right?
You cannot tell what?
You can't tan it because it's already been tanned. When you purchase like a leather coat, for example.
Yeah, but they tan it.
It's already been tanned. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I thought your question if it is from swine.
No. I said cow. I said it was a cow,
Cow,
but was
okay.
not stored according to.
I know it's standing, you know, missiles, like they use some types of chemicals to clean it. No. Yes.
The question, using perfume or anything like that that has alcohol mixed with it.
Okay.
What's the ruling on that?
Type alcohol is not najis. Alcohol is not impure.
So
Yeah, it's haram for us to drink it. Yeah, but yeah.
Is the mic?
I'm sorry.
Mic's not being used.
Yeah. The question is the perfume that contains alcohol. Is it pure and we can use it? The answer is yes, because alcohol itself is not impure. Alcohol is not impure. Yes, yes. If someone put, for example, alcohol in a wound, over a wound, okay? Or if he used perfumes that has alcohol in it, and he prayed, his salah is correct because it's not impure. Yeah, we are prohibited from praying while we have impurity present on our bodies or our clothes. So alcohol is not impure. It's haram to consume, it's haram to drink, but it's not impure. Yeah, yes.
Question about gold and silver, the ring and watch. Are those? Let's forget about the watch. Watch is good business. How's the ring, which is get on the weddings and things?
Yeah, wedding ring. Now we said it is prohibited for men, not for women.
Right.
Because women, they can wear anything made of gold. But for men, can a man wear a ring made of gold? No. Yes, there's no exception. But what about silver? Yes, he can wear silver ring, but not golden ring.
There is a watch.
Yeah, also for watches, even if it's plated with gold. Now, yes.
What about other precious metals like they are even more expensive, like platinum, for example, more expensive than gold?
Yeah, but if it is known to be worn by women, like for example, you're talking about a watch.
A ring, platinum ring, for example.
Yeah, you know the prohibition is for using gold for men, gold and silk. Yes, but if it is like something very very expensive. Okay. Also, there are certain rules we have to apply. Usually, women who are the ones who use such precious metals, not men. Okay. Two things: we are prohibited from imitating the disbelievers in the thing that is unique to them, but also we are prohibited. Men are prohibited from imitating women, and women are prohibited from imitating men. Like if anything that's known to be worn by women, men cannot wear it. Yes.
There's this thing called white gold.
Is it gold or not gold?
I don't know. I mean, I hear
Yeah.
White gold, black gold, yellow.
No, if it is gold but it's white, then we cannot use it. But I think when they're talking about white gold, they're talking about platinum or.
I don't know. I just heard.
Yes.
What about if like women are known to wear something, but then men can't imitate it? What if like the norm changes over time? Like pink shirts, right? Pink is normally like a woman color, but like over time nowadays everybody wears pink. So what's the reason?
Even women.
Sorry?
You said you are pink, huh?
Yeah, pink, or like really like neon colors or something. Like, is that
Yeah, but if it is known in a community, like for example, here it's known that pink is the color for women, but back home it's not like that. You can wear it back home, but not here. It depends. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I have one more question before we stop for break. Wearing jalabiya. Is it sunnah to wear jalabiya for men? This is called jalabiya, like. Huh? Thawb. Wearing thawb. Is it sunnah? Is it sunnah to wear thawb? Like for example, you wear this jeans. Okay. So am I following sunnah more than you by wearing this thawb?
It fulfills the sunnah obligation, covering properly.
Depends, is it a matter of religion? Looks like it may not be.
Okay?
It's a loose, that's more important.
Huh?
It's a loose clothing.
Does it fulfill the
It's
conditions
not
of
tight.
the
Okay.
clothing?
I'm sorry?
Does it fulfill the conditions of clothing?
Yeah.
You know,
But
for a
if
man?
one were like if a brother wore, for example, a short that up to here, okay, he's more following the sunnah than one who wears jalabia like this. If it's wide enough, because we have to remember, you know, it's not a sunnah to wear jalabia. It's not a sunnah to wear thawb. Okay, not because the Prophet ﷺ did that, because Muslims and non-Muslims alike, they used to wear the same thing in Mecca. For example, a Sahabi who followed Islam and Abu Jahl, both of them, they wore julbab, which is thawb, and they wore turban. Okay? So we cannot say wearing jalabiya is the sunnah. In the contrary, the Prophet ﷺ says, he naha al labas al-shuhra, that he forbade us from wearing something that will distinguish us from others. Like, for example, if wearing a jalabiya, it will make you very distinguished from everybody else. Like in the middle of a shopping center, you are the only one who wears jalabiya. This action is prohibited because you can easily spot it. Okay, number one, it might give you a feeling of arrogance. I am different from everybody else. Okay. Secondly, security-wise, you would be spotted very easily because you are different from everyone else. So this is why the scholar said the sunnah is to wear like other people, as long as what they are wearing is not haram. You cannot say, you have to wear, tight clothes because everyone, no. But you wear like trouser, shirt, but it should be wide enough. Okay. But we cannot say wearing jalabiya is all the time is the sunnah. This is incorrect. And this is a misunderstanding by many Muslims, that they think when they wear a thawb, they are following the sunnah more than the one who is wearing a trouser. Okay.
This is for the brothers.
Yes. Oh, for the sister, of course. Because for the sisters there is a specific code that they have to cover everything except the face and the two hands.
So in that context, what about kufi?
The kufi also is not a sunnah, unless if you live in a community where every man wear kufi. But the general principle that a Muslim, the sunnah is to wear like everyone in the community, unless what they wear is not in compliance with the Sharia.
But why only for prayer they wear the kufi?
Even for prayer, it's a sunnah to wear a kufi in the prayer if it is part of the Muslim adornment in that community. Not all the time wearing a kufi is a sunnah in the prayer.
Doesn't it identify you as a Muslim, that identity of Islam was in this
By wearing a
by having certain level of out,
libas.
Right, I mean, because you see like some of the youth, then it opens the door for many things.
Like
hairstyle.
No.
I mean, many clothing styles.
No, for clothing there is a specific regulations in Islam. First of all, if you are wearing a pant, as long as it's tight, it's not tight, it's wide enough, and it does not go beyond your ankle, then you are okay. But if you want to wear like very tight trousers, we tell him you cannot do that, because one of the principles that what you wear should not be descriptive. It should not describe your body, and it should not be transparent that you can see through. Okay, but as long as it is wide and it's not going beyond the ankle, then it's okay to wear it. And you cannot say to him, no, you have to wear jalabiya or this or that. Yes?
The trousers, if you are in sujood, they actually become tight.
No, when you go to ruku'. But also the same thing applied to the jalabiya, to the thawb. I said, you know, it should be wide. It should not be descriptive. If it describes your aura, if it describes your body, then you cannot wear it. In the salah or outside the salah. Okay? But what makes type of dress in compliance with the Sharia or not is the specifications. If it is not tight, it does not describe your body, it's not transparent, it does not go beyond the ankle, then it's okay to wear that. Okay? Yes.
You mentioned based on, you mentioned actually it is prohibited, it's not really discouraged. It's prohibited to go, say, with julba in a mall, in a strange place where.
Yeah.
You mentioned it's prohibited, so that's kind of strong. So what is the evidence behind that? Because if
the evidence that the Prophet ﷺ says, Naha, he prohibits us from wearing, you know, thiyab al-shuhra, anything that distinguishes you from the rest of the people. Like, for example, wearing a shirt that has a color different from everybody else shirt's color, which that makes you distinguish from every other one. Okay, this is called thiyab al-shuhra. Thiyab al-shuhra, the type of dress that will make you distinguished. Okay, like as I said, wearing thawb like this in the middle of a mall where everyone was differently. You know, this is shuhra. Shuhra means it makes you distinguish from everybody else in that. Now, yes. No, hijab now. Because that rule says, you know, you wear like the rest of the community, unless if it is something prohibited. So women, they have a specific dress code. They have to cover the entire body except the face and the two hands, right? Then this applicable everywhere. But I'm talking about men, because for men, they have certain restrictions. They cannot have anything that reveals the thigh, for example, okay? Or anything that goes beyond the ankle. But whether it is a jalabi, jilbab, or thawb, or a trouser, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make difference. You cannot say wearing thawb is better than wearing a trouser. Okay? Now, yes.
So other people in this context mean Muslims or non-Muslims. There is no distinction.
Exactly. As long as what they wear is not in conflict with the regulations of the Sharia. Now, طيب, inshallah we'll break for what time is Salat al-Asr? 3:45?
3:45, yeah.
Okay, so we'll come after Asr inshallah? Or
3:45.